Hi guys, this is Julie again in her kitchen. Gonna show you today how to press a succulent. I don't actually press them traditionally, and these ones I actually don't even freeze dry. On this note, what I do is I use this trusty little microwave press. I got mine. It's a microfloor. You can get them anywhere. You know, Amazon, probably the easiest. You can Google it. It works great for some things. I don't really like to press a lot of flowers in here because I don't like the way they turn out for the most part, but it is definitely recommended for some things that will turn out really nicely. Sometimes I will start by microwaving a flower for 20 seconds and then pressing them just to get a little moisture out of them, but I really don't like it. I think they tend to brown the flowers a lot, and they fade a lot faster as well. What this includes, when you get it, you'll see these little papers here. You can see mine is well worn, well used. Flowers will tend to brown your paper. I've gone through a few of these. So you be very careful. Sometimes they do actually burn in the microwave. And it comes with these nice little absorbent sheets as well, or absorbent pads. I guess these are the sheets here. And the plastic on the outside with the holes. What I actually do with my succulents when I'm going to be using the microwave press, and usually you want to clean them up a little. I just got these out of my yard and it was raining outside. So what you're going to want to do is clean them, and then if you have any stem, you're going to cut the stems as much as possible. As you are all well aware, succulents hold a lot of water. So we're gonna get that all out. In fact, some of these bottom petals that aren't gonna show, I'm just gonna take them off. We don't need them. It causes extra width or thickness, and they won't show from the front. You do wanna get a good roundness to it, a good shape, so I'm not gonna pull off too much more. But now you'll see I'll have a little bit more stem piece that I can cut off, which I'm going to do. Okay, so how do you get the water out of a succulent? I've done so much research on this because, you know, sometimes they don't even work in a freeze dryer. They are very, very touchy. So what I've learned over the years here is on my research, there's not a lot of research out there on them. I've heard people boiling them. I've heard people, you know, doing crazy stuff with them. What I've learned though is, you know, ask other preservationists as well. I found taking a pin, just a regular pin, this one is one from probably a wedding bouquet, turning my succulent upside down here, and I'm gonna poke holes, little tiny holes all throughout the entire back of the petals here. I'm not gonna necessarily go all the way through. You won't see it anyway once it's in the microwave press, but I'm gonna poke teeny tiny holes on every single petal here. And this, you might have guessed, is going to release some of that water that these succulents hold. And it's going to hopefully, and what I've come to learn, is get that water out even more and dry it faster and leave it intact to where you can actually use it in a pressed flower frame or for whatever purposes you are using your pressed succulent for. I know these are popular these days in wedding bouquets as well, and you might have guessed that I focus a lot on weddings just because that's where I get 90% of my business. What I am going to do after I do all of my succulent, I'm going to actually get this middle, and I'm going to poke the heck out of the middle just be careful that you're not poking yourself, because you don't want to make yourself bleed. No one said that pressing flowers is not a dangerous profession. I can actually tell you from some of the things that I do, I think my hands have more sores on them from anything, just because I've poked myself, I've cut myself, I've done who knows, maybe I'm just clumsy. That always happens. All right, so I'm gonna get this middle where there's a lot of water in this middle. So I'm gonna poke a giant hole all the way down. And not only that, I'm gonna poke holes all the way through their thick center. Again, you won't be able to see this once it's actually pressed into this microwave press. You will have to play with your microwave, because every microwave is different. I've learned mine. I know that I can put this succulent for 1 minute at a time. I do not recommend doing that with regular flowers. You probably want to do 20 to 30 seconds at a time with regular flowers, but with a succulent, again, there's so much water in it, it will take at least 3 minutes in the microwave. And that's a long time considering the fact that most flowers take 30 seconds. So again, here I go. I'm gonna poke this middle. I did some bigger ones. Now I'm gonna just poke. And I think that's pretty good for now. I can double poke this later. Sometimes I do re-poke it again after it comes out of the microwave for the first time. Another thing you're gonna be kind of careful with is the fact that it's gonna be hot when it comes out. So you're gonna have to leave it sitting there for a couple minutes just to cool it down so you're gonna be able to touch it. So with this microwave press, you have your plastic piece. You're gonna put this absorbent pad down first. You can kind of see where I burned mine, so be very careful. You don't want to burn your pads. They sell replacements. It's not a big deal. It just really stinks. I'm someone that works in my kitchen here, and I'm sure my family loves it when I'm cooking flowers. When you burn flour or burn this microwave press, it smells for a while. So I'm gonna just lay it down flat. I kind of want to lay it towards the side. I tend to think that's where the pressure is gonna hold it down a little bit more than the center, because you'll see the plastic clips that go onto it. So you're gonna want to put the other paper in there and then the pad on top. Here we go. And then your other plastic piece. Really simple. Now, the hard part is these succulents are a little bit thick, so you're gonna have to get these clips on. The first one. Sometimes if you have a really thick flower, you're gonna have to press this in before it even hits the microwave. Okay, so now my succulent's in here and it's ready to go. All right, let's put it in the microwave for 1 minute. So this has been in the microwave for 1 minute. You might be able to see that there is a lot of moisture on the outside where the holes are. So the moisture comes out from here, and that's how it's drying the flower. It's getting out that moisture. So I'm gonna take some paper towels and kind of dry it off. And we're gonna open this up and check it out. All right, let's see here. Move that. Now, these are gonna be hot and wet. So each layer, we're gonna wipe it off. Wipe all the moisture off because we're trying to get the moisture out. I'm gonna take this piece off, kind of shake it out. Now this is gonna get wet. This is gonna get really wet from the succulent. Some flowers may not get as wet. This one will. I'm gonna take both of these off at the same time here and lay it over here. I'm gonna get this off first. You can do it any way you want. That's just the way I do it. Shake it out, and I'm gonna dry off this bottom piece here. Now I'm gonna open this up. We're gonna see what it looks like after 1 minute. You can see that it's on here. It's kind of stuck. I'm gonna flip it and carefully see if it comes off. without breaking the succulent. So sometimes you have to peel it off. Sometimes it comes off real nice. Okay, looks like it came off pretty good here. What I am going to do now is actually, sometimes I put it between the paper towel and kind of squish it with my own hands. I'm gonna put this down here first because it does really stick when you're trying to get that moisture out, and you don't want to break your succulent petals here. You want them to be nice and flat. You don't want them broken apart. And it's not going to break so much as make your petals not lay flat. So again, upside down, it's on this paper here that came with the microwave press. I'm going to take a paper towel over it, and I am going to lean my body weight into it. And those holes that I poked are going to let out even more of this moisture. I tend to just think that, you know, succulents are wet, wet, wet. You have to get out all that water for it to dry properly and not brown. Okay, so especially that center here. So we're gonna squish it. And you might not be able to see it, but my paper towel is pretty wet still. Okay, so I kind of got out a little more. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take my pin again and just poke that center again. Just poke it down. You already have holes in quite a bit of these petals on the end, and you don't want to make holes too much in the petals going all the way through. So I'm going to concentrate on the center. And it doesn't matter if this is going to come off right now because I'm going to put it back in the microwave. Okay, again, layer with your pad, your paper, the other one, and your pad again. Here we go. And then we're going to do this again in the microwave for another whole minute. What you're trying to do is dry it out. Dry it out. Sometimes even after 3 minutes, it may not be completely dry. You may find that you want to put it kind of in a book or something for about a week. It'll be completely dry by then, especially because you put it in the microwave for such a long period of time. Okay, here we go again. Okay, this is after 2 minutes. You can see there's still quite a bit of moisture on this, which means it's not done. You will see moisture coming out of this for a little bit more with bigger flowers, not so much with your smaller flowers. And let's open this up. Be careful you're not getting that steam on you because it is now getting even hotter. The more you use this at one time, the hotter your little microwave press will be. Again, we're going to make sure all the moisture's off. We're gonna make sure this isn't getting too wet, which it is, but you're going to kind of separate these a little bit so they have time to cool down. Okay, we're drying this. And now we're gonna see what this looks like after 2 minutes. Cool, look at this. It's starting to dry really nicely. Okay, you can see it's not quite pressed dry all the way. Still has a little bit of, well, I can feel it. Still a little bit of moisture left into it. Now at this point, I can stop microwaving it, or I can put it back in. I might put it back in for more like 30 seconds and then finish drying it out in a book. So let's do that. Let's put it in for another 30 seconds. I'm gonna put my pad back down, my layer. I'm not gonna re-poke it. I'm done poking it, it's poked enough. We're gonna get this in there and we're gonna get going. Here we go, put it back in. So you can really see if this was a lot of flowers, this would take you quite a few hours. So doing one full bouquet with a microwave press is not going to be very timely. So I don't recommend a microwave press for an entire bouquet. Not only that, I just find that the flowers don't turn out as colorful. Sometimes they get brown markings on them. You can start them out in the press like this, but for long term and for beautiful colorful flowers, I would not recommend using this over a traditional press or even my method of freeze drying. Okay, let's get this in for 30 more seconds. This is after 2 minutes. You can see there's still quite a bit of moisture on this, which means it's not done. You will see moisture coming out of this for a little bit more with bigger flowers, not so much with your smaller flowers. And let's open this up. Be careful you're not getting that steam on you because it is now getting even hotter. The more you use this at one time, the hotter your little microwave press will be. Again, we're going to make sure all the moisture's off. We're gonna make sure this isn't getting too wet, which it is, but you're going to kind of separate these a little bit so they have time to cool down. Okay, we're drying this. And now we're gonna see what this looks like after 2 minutes. Cool, look at this. It's starting to dry really, really nicely. Okay, you can see it's not quite pressed dry all the way. Still has a little bit of, well, I can feel it. Still a little bit of moisture left into it. Now at this point, I can stop microwaving it, or I can put it back in. I might put it back in for more like 30 seconds and then finish drying it out in a book. So let's do that. Let's put it in for another 30 seconds. I'm gonna put my pad back down. My layer, I'm not gonna repoke it. I'm done poking it, it's poked enough. We're gonna get this in there and we're gonna get going. Here we go, put it back in. So you can really see if this was a lot of flowers, this would take you quite a few hours. So doing one full bouquet with a microwave press is not going to be very timely. So I don't recommend a microwave press for an entire bouquet. Not only that, I just find that the flowers don't turn out as colorful. Sometimes they get brown markings on them. You can start them out in the press like this, but for long term and for beautiful colorful flowers, I would not recommend using this over a traditional press or even my method of freeze drying. Okay, let's get this in for 30 more seconds. Last time I promise. Okay, we're getting this moisture. Look, there's not much on here. There's just a tiny bit. Open it up and check it out. Let's see how dry it got within 2.5 minutes. Still quite a bit of moisture on the inside here. Again, be careful, it does get hot. Here we go. I'm gonna pull this off together. Get this a little bit cooled down. Take that moisture off. And let's open this and reveal what we got inside. Here we go. So this is pretty much mostly dry. You'll know it's dry when you can feel it and you feel that it almost feels like paper. So this is your end result. Sometimes it will turn out better if you poke it a little bit better, but you can kind of see this is your pressed succulent, just like this. This one took 2.5 minutes. This was done in my microwave press. I definitely recommend it for succulents. It actually does work for peonies too, thicker flowers like that. I, again, just don't use it too much for entire bouquets. It takes a lot of time. If you're doing a single flower or a few flowers for a frame, it will work out. Again, this is the best method that I have found that does succulents. Don't forget to poke the backs. Again, you cannot see that I even poked this at all. And now you can create a beautiful frame or a resin piece, or you have your pressed succulent that you can make some art out of. Thank you for listening. I'm Julie with Infinity Bouquets. Take care.